Halloween is coming up, so I figured this was the perfect time to make some guides or some spooky weapons. In this video, the last rites. This sword looks like it's plucked straight from a tomb, which is just awesome. To start, make sure you buy at least 4 soul cakes. Don't eat one yet, the buff disappears if you move map, which you are going to do. Just keep them in your inventory for now. We're going to start with what is most likely the most difficult step, Shark Maw Caverns in Lion's Arch. Starting from this waypoint right here, we're going to run towards the windmill over on the hill. Once there, go around the windmill and jump on the haystacks. Follow them until you get to the little garden behind the windmill. There's a somewhat hidden passage through the foliage here, so just run through. From here, keep jumping up the terrain, do not go down, until you hit more foliage. Again, just run through. We're almost at the entrance now. A little bit further, jump up on the stone platform and keep going. You should be able to see a vista point here. Scale the wall up to it, and you may as well grab it if you don't have it yet. Turning around, you should see the entrance to Shark Maw Caverns. There's lots of people with lots of different methods on how to do this, but honestly, they didn't work for me. You have to jump at the correct angle and either keep running forward or not in order to not plummet to your death. For me, it was a trial and error situation. Ultimately, I went down here towards the small outcropping and I kept pressing forward, which, thankfully, worked. Once in the water, make your way up and get ready to brave the dark caverns. From here, we're going to follow the path on our right-hand side. Just jump up the rocky pathway all the way to the end. Here, we get another obstacle. The dark maze. It's actually fairly easy, and even with my screen being this dark, you should still be able to find your way through. Once you enter the maze, you'll want to take the lane to your utmost left. Keep following this lane until you see a blue torch. Right by this torch, you can walk through the wall. Then off in the distance, you'll see another blue torch. Run towards it and do the exact same. After you've done that, you can continue hugging the left wall until a third time you come across a blue torch. And once more, you will run through a wall. This was the maze. Simplified. If your screen is as dark as mine, use your minimap to orient yourself and run to the end of the hallway. From here, we'll take a right turn and continue on. Over to stream with the waterfall and jumping over the rocks. Not in the small crevice where I landed. At the end here, we'll use this small rock to turn a near 180 up onto the taller rocks and the stone platform. Then on your left, up the rocks next to the waterfall. This next part is rather misleading. You'll come up to a corridor with spikes shooting from the sides and top. The trick is to run exactly in the middle and you'll be safe. So just follow the corridor remaining in the middle of the hallway. Make sure not to run too far and bump into the spikes at the end. Turn your camera, align yourself, and run the next end of the corridor through the middle. At this end, turn to your left again and jump over the gap. I tried to cheese it, but it didn't work, so just jump. Continue on straight ahead to the next part of the spike tunnels. This one will be timed instead of just running in the middle, so keep a close eye. Even within this darkness, I was able to run about 3 sections in between each spike phase, so it's definitely doable. Just keep running, stand in safety near the blue torches, wait for the spikes, and run again. Turn to the left and exit the corridor. We're almost there. From here we head to the right and drop down. Jump over the gaps and continue following the rocky pathway. Continue on following the path and the bend to the right until we get to the darkened room. This one is less tricky and just requires you to be patient, or use AoEs to light it up. It's a simple jumping area, just reach the other side. The lights only go on ever so often though, so you'll have to try and get as far as you can each turn, or again, just cheese it a bit. I went with the patient route and just waited in between jumps. It wasn't too difficult. Alright, the final plummet. 3 areas to jump down in, only one is a correct one. The other 2 will have you fall to your death. At this stage of the jumping puzzle, that would be really annoying. So just take the one on your right. After falling down, make your way out of the water. Don't forget to take your food here. And then loot the chest at the end. Eating the soul cake should give you 1 out of 5, and after looting the chest with the buff, you should have 2 out of 5 completed. Congratulations, the hardest part is done. Next up is the Shadow Behemoth world boss. This one can be found in Queensdale right outside of Divinity's Reach. The behemoth spawns in God's Lost Swamp and has a number of waypoints nearby you can grab. Again, you can check the wiki for Guild Wars 2 event timers for when the Shadow Behemoth actually spawns. Ultimately, you'll want to make your way over here. If it's close to spawn time, there will be plenty of people around, so you can't really miss it. Right before the boss spawns, a number of portals will open up. It's up to everyone to close these portals, which will trigger the world boss. Remember to take your food either now without dying, or turn off auto loot and use it before looting the boss drop. Take down the world boss and loot the chest with the buff up to get your next step. The next 2 steps aren't difficult, but they will require you to grab a group. You will have to do one of the explorable paths of the Ascalon Catacombs dungeon and the Urban Battleground Fractal. Any of the dungeon paths are viable, just pick your favorite, they're all rather easy. Just make sure to have your buff up while you loot the final chest. The Urban Battleground Fractal can be done as early as level 4 even, so it shouldn't pose too much of a problem. Again, just make sure to have your buff up as you loot the final chest. The safest way to do this is to turn off auto loot if you have it, and just buff the moment you loot. Having done all of this, you'll have completed your 5 steps and will be rewarded with your spooky new blade. If you like this video, make sure to check out the Carapace of Chaos video for a spooky shield. Also, make sure to move that like button and press some buttons to support the channel. At any rate, take care my friends, and happy adventuring.